I hope you get everything you voted for. Me too, bro. Fingers crossed.
Oh look, it's another Trumper arguing with themselves because that was the only debate partner they could find with a jellyfish-level IQ required to give them a fighting chance at winning an argument. I just can't wait to see what flawless logic a brain with fewer ridges than a bowling ball is gonna bring us this time.
Do you realize the orange guy wants to deport you? Bro, Trump's not deporting American citizens that have Mexican heritage like myself. He's deporting illegal aliens.
Bro, how did you pick the dumbest debate partner you could possibly find and somehow you're already losing the argument with them? The statement you wrote so you could win the argument against yourself was that Trump wants to deport you, an American citizen with Mexican heritage. And you're like, nuh-uh, no he doesn't. But he absolutely does, as evidenced by the executive order he signed wanting to take away your birthright citizenship, saying he wants to revoke the legal status of some immigrants, and saying he would send American citizens to fucking El Salvador. But you know, whatever. First one, everybody gets a mulligan. You can't win them all. I mean, in this case, you could have, but clearly you can't. But moving on, I'm sure you'll do better on the next point.
You know how expensive groceries are gonna get? Are you talking about tariffs? So just buy American goods, bro.
Jesus fuck. But duh, the answer was just so simple. Why didn't we think of it before? I mean, I guess we'll have to give up year-round fresh fruits and vegetables because I don't know about where you are, but where I am, it's negative fucking 10 out right now and the avocado trees are barren. Also, they don't grow here, kind of like coffee and cocoa doesn't either. And considering we are one of the biggest agricultural producers in the country, unless you really like lutefisk, and trust me, you don't, you might want to keep buying imported foods. And what about the lumber we get from Canada? I mean, I suppose we could just plant a few trees here and then wait the 20 to 40 fucking years it takes for them to grow, and I'm sure that housing prices won't skyrocket in that time. Now here's the thing, even if we could replace every imported thing we currently consume by just buying American, which we can't, but if we could, the point that you made with yourself to try to dispute was that tariffs would make the prices go up, and guess what? Just buying American wouldn't fucking change that. And not only would everything else still get way more expensive, it would make a lot of us a lot poorer because it would put tons of businesses out of business and tons of people out of work. And to explain that to you, I'm gonna do some really simple math. Now I understand you're losing an argument with yourself, and I'm fresh out of crayon, so you might not be able to follow along, but just do your best, okay? The United States makes up 4% of the global population, but it makes up 26% of the global economy. And the reason we have such an outsized economy as compared to the population of our country is because we sell our shit to people who aren't in our fucking country. The only reason we are able to do that is because we have free trade agreements with those countries. We buy some shit from them, and they buy a lot of shit from us. See, when there's no tariffs, everybody wins, but we win the most. And then when we do have tariffs, everybody loses, but we lose the most. And you've already seen this in action the last time Creamsicle Caligula imposed a bunch of tariffs and then had to write a bunch of welfare checks to all the farmers who had nobody to sell their fucking grain to anymore. Honest question, how often does your mom have to clean your saliva off of her windows? Because it's gotta be fucking daily.
What about the American farms? Who's gonna pick those crops? 16-year-olds that got their first job? College kids? Unskilled laborers?
So your plan is to have crops that need to be harvested in the fall picked by school kids who go back to school in the fall. God, I can't find any flaws in that logic. I suppose you'd argue that the slack of the school kids who can't pick the crops because they're in school could be picked up by the unskilled labor, which is a thing that doesn't exist. All labor is skilled labor. Or so I thought until I saw you put in the labor to make a video arguing with yourself and you lacked the requisite skills to win said argument with yourself. So maybe I was wrong.
I don't think there's any shortage of unskilled laborers in America.
God, I need a fucking crayon. Closest thing I could find was a magic marker. Now, the current unemployment rate is around 4%. That equals around 6.5 million people. Now, of that 6.5 million, not all of them are unspecialized labor. A lot of them are specialized tradespeople or executive level people or educated people. But 6.5 million is all of the unemployed people, okay? There is about 8.5 million migrant workers in the U.S. workforce. Now here comes the hard part. 8.5 is greater than 6.5. Okay, this number is bigger than this number. And the smaller number doesn't just represent unskilled people, it only represents unemployed people. So the number of unskilled people in the United States is considerably less than the 8.5 million migrant workers we currently have working in the United States. So if we get rid of the 8.5 million migrant workers, that would give us a shortage of workers. So yeah, we would have a shortage. Do you get that? Nah? Fuck. Should have drawn pictures. Also, the economic replacement birth rate is 2.1 and our current birth rate's 1.66. And while I get you're trying to force women to fix that against their will, it's not gonna happen. So the only way to actually fill those jobs is via immigration. So not only is there currently a shortage that is filled by migrants, that shortage is only going to continue getting worse. You are just not doing great here.
Americans are going to demand more money and health benefits. So wait, you're advocating to keep illegal immigrants in the country so that companies can pay them a lower wage than minimum wage?
No, we've been advocating for living wages and worker protections for decades. We've been advocating for decades for comprehensive immigration reform that would allow these people to come from their home countries, work here seasonally for a decent wage, and then go back to their home countries where their home is. Which is exactly what they've done for generations. They come here, well, they do the seasonal work, and then they go back home with the money they earn to a place where that dollar goes a lot further. And we would love to make a legal avenue for them to do that, to make sure that they are paid fair wages and have fair protections while they work here. That is what we're fucking advocating for.
Did it click?
Yeah, it clicked. It clicked like a car trying to start with a dead battery, because that was genuinely some of the dumbest shit I have ever heard in my entire life. Anyway, I'm gonna leave you with some friendly advice, bud. You are not nearly cute enough for this cringy Chicano Candace Owens grift you're going for, so, you know, do better.